Welcome! You're listening to Making Relationships Work. We're a company focused on women and their marriage. We lead and teach women just like you how to grow into and access, whenever you need to, your wise woman self. The part of you who is deeply connected to your purpose, your innate wisdom, and your husband and family. We teach women in marriages how to rebuild trust and connection, to work through conflicts, no matter how deep, no matter how painful, and to lead your marriage to a place where the two of you experience marriage mastery. This podcast is about learning the systems and techniques that truly work to reconnect you back into your marriage so that you can experience the freedom that comes with a masterful marriage. Since this podcast is totally free, if you're getting tons of value and you want to support us and make sure that you get more of this good stuff, subscribe below and rate and review our podcast today. Now, on to the show. Hello, women making marriages work, and hello to our Making Relationships Work YouTube channel and podcast series. It's really nice to be with you tonight. And tonight we're going to talk about why you feel like giving up and what to do when you feel like giving up and how to get yourself back into a space of inspired action, moving forward. And so this is a really important conversation, as all our conversations are, to be honest. But this one is a really particularly important one because often we can get some momentum. We can get going into the creation of the life that we want. We realize we've kind of hit a limit. We don't want what we've got anymore. And so we understand that we must set a goal and start moving in the direction, knowing that even if today things aren't looking different, the trust that we have is that each step we take in the next right direction will get us to where we want to go. Now, in my last Facebook Live, I think it was, perhaps it was an earlier one, I talked about how the action of doing doesn't always get what you want. It's the action of being and what that was and how you do that. So if you missed that one, that will feed into what we're going to talk about today. But essentially, what we need to talk about today is you and your goal setting and why you want to give up. So if you're here in this group, if you're listening to this on our podcast channel or watching me on YouTube, you're doing it because things aren't working the way you want in your marriage. And so we look at a marriage and we say, why is it not working? Well, let's have a quick breakdown of why. First of all, there are two people in a marriage. Then there's the marriage itself. It's three parts to work on. And you can influence directly two parts of the three. Yeah. And the way you show up influences the other person. So we have a heap of influence here. And the trouble is that most people, and I mean no disrespect, but most people don't understand how to do it differently, because if they could, they would. And so we have usually a fundamental skills issue, which is why I always refer you back to the masterclass. So watch that. But outside of that, let's talk about why you set the goal of having a better marriage, becoming closer. And maybe you've done a heap of doing things, like you've scheduled sex, you're running the house better, you're making more food and you're more organized and you're kind of supporting him better. And you're like, why is this not shifting anything? And I've tried again and I've tried again and I've tried again and now I've run out of steam and it didn't work. So part of it is because it's the doing. You're in the space of doing, not being. And that's really important because the being is the person that he can find and connect with. And what we tend to do as humans is go out in front of ourselves. And we are either kind of running ahead in an anxious kind of way, or we're hiding behind in an avoidant kind of way. Rarely are we, particularly when we're in a marriage in crisis, in a space of being and knowing what to do and how to say it and what the next right thing is. Usually we're under pressure, we're upset. And so we're kind of white knuckling and trying to manage and control our way into something new. And the thing is, that's probably worked for you for the past 6 years or so. Remember, it takes 6 years to get to crisis where you're thinking about leaving. You've probably used that tool as far as it will go. That gripping, that overworking, that showing up even more. And that's not the answer. And that's why you want to give up, because you've used up all your energy, your mental energy, your physical energy, your emotional energy. You're carrying bruises, you're carrying suitcases of pain around in relation to your marriage, perhaps also your children, because often they go hand in glove. And so when we're unpacking this, what we need to be talking about is, you want to give up. I think actually you probably should give up, but not on your marriage. Give up on the way you've been trying to save your marriage, because giving up that and coming and doing something that works, that's the most inspired action that you can take. And so let's unpack the giving up, because the giving up is about saying, this isn't working. I can't find in my body, my mind, my emotional space any more push to do what you need me to do, or what I think you need me to do. I don't actually know that, but that's what I think it is. And of course, you don't have any energy. And of course, you don't want to do it anymore. Who would? When you're running low on reserves that much, and you've tried so much and you've had zero influence, people comment to me all the time, why should I do this? It's too hard. He doesn't do this. And every single time, my heart just kind of goes out to them. I think if you knew what I know, you wouldn't want to give up. You would understand that this situation doesn't need to be the way that it is. And that is the gift of having walked through hard things and not giving up. Maybe giving up what didn't work, yes, but not giving up. And so be very careful if you're thinking about giving up on your marriage. It might be the marriage that needs to be given up. Sure, maybe if you're one of the 5 or 10% of cases that can't be, it's the right thing. But probably it's the way that you've been showing up that needs to be the part that's given up, rather than giving up in general. And that little nuance is where I play and where I work and where my zone of genius is. Because the I want to give up thing, it's as it has as little impact on me when I'm working with my clients as the tears do. Because tears and giving up, there's these things of, the only thing I can see is this narrow field of, I have to give up, otherwise I won't be all right. Those things are not about listening to them and executing them straight away. They're more about, where are you and how do we open up the world of possibility of what you have available to you right now. So the idea of giving up is one that is born from a frustration and a futility of things that haven't worked. And that's okay, because if it doesn't work, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. If it doesn't work, then we just need to look for what does work. And everything in my masterclass works. So go there if you need some skills. But we're really not talking about skills here, although, of course, that's important. What we're talking about is you, and how you've constructed a story that you have to give up because what you've done doesn't work. But here's the thing. You didn't know how to do it a different way. You did it the way you have seen modeled in your family of origin. You did it the way it's modeled in your church or in your community. You did it the way your friends do it. And let me tell you, they don't know how to do it either. Being in a relationship is the most undertaught skill for this world. And so don't give up on your beloved because you've run out of ideas for what you know is possible. Give up on doing those things, but don't give up on him. Don't give up on it unless it is you're part of that 5 or 10% where it's appropriate. Go ahead, do it. That's fine. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about you and your tiredness, your fatigue, your exhaustedness, your white-knuckled, your heavy layers of stress on your shoulders. That's what we're talking about. And so there is a way through it. But do you know what it is? The answer is we have to create within you new access to different parts of you that lead with courage and compassion, kindness and connection. We need to create foundations where you're rock solid in who you are. You know who you are, you know how you show up, you know what to say and how to say it, you know how to figure out what's going on in front of you and then to do the next right thing. Do you see how all of those things, though, are about being, not doing? The last part was doing. And so what's missing for you is not the doing. You've been doing that until you are exhausted. It is the being. And this is not a list of self-care practices, my darlings, although I am a big advocate for them. This is a rewriting of how you interact in the world in a way that most suits who you are today and who you want to become tomorrow. And that crafting, that design pivots you from doing what you've always done that's not working into being who you actually are and creating from there. And they are very different things. And so if you are ready to learn how to do that, then I'll put my calendar link in the comments below. You'll be able to come and find me and my team. But I highly recommend you watch that masterclass. You get a sense of how to do it differently. And then you start to think about who do you want to be in your life and in your marriage? And is who you want to be match who you are being? I would guess it's not. And if you are ready to do something different, we are ready to talk to you. And if you're not ready, then keep following along here. Keep learning each week that I talk to you, because I talk to you twice a week. And there is lots to be learned here, but not everything is here. Everything you need is in here with me and my team. And that's the truth. And so I will talk to you very soon. And I wish you so much love and connection and support in your life. And I wish you such clarity in letting go of the things that don't work for you and building the things that you want, the things that fit your age and stage, not the things you learnt when you were young, not the things you learnt from your community. What would you do if you had a fresh sheet of paper? How would you design your life? How would you design your internal experience? How would you be in the world? That's what we're talking about. I'll talk to you very soon, my loves. Much love. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into today's show. If you're feeling fired up and you're ready to grow and you want to know more about how to do that, here is what I want you to do now. I want you to watch my marriage masterclass. This masterclass will show you how my clients have turned their struggling marriages into thriving marriages, even without their husband's buy-in. How my clients have gone from cycles of poor communication, disconnect and loneliness to being teammates and soulmates with their husbands again, even after they've already tried everything. And the proven system my clients use to start transforming their marriages in minutes, not years, because life is too precious to waste one more minute in an unhappy and unfulfilling marriage. So if this is what you're looking for, I want you to click the link below and take a look at my